Okay, so we had a few problems to do. Oops. So I asked you not to do the right side, but I asked you to do these. So those of you who are still doing it, here's my variable x, which is currently being multiplied by 7. So to undo that, I'm going to divide by 7. And what I mean by that, I'm going to divide the left side of my equation and my right side by 7. So how do I show that? Here's my division. Divide by 7, divide by 7. Now what does that get me? Well, 7 divided by 7 is just 1. And 1 times x is just x. And notice that my x is all by itself. 63 divided by 7 is 9. So this is what I want. Find the value of x. And then if you look over here, what did I first do? First I identified what was the operation being used, and it was multiplication. Then I had to find the inverse operation of the multiplication, which is division, right? So I divided both sides by 7, and now I have to check. So copy the original equation. 7 times x equals 63. And what we're going to do is, this x here, I'm going to replace it with the value that we found, which is 9. Well, now I'm just going to make sure that the expression on the left, which is 7 times 9, is equal to the expression on the right. So 7 times 9 is indeed 63. And guess what? That equals to 63 on the other side. Okay, so second one. Now here we have, again, here's my variable x. What's happening to the x? It's being divided by 25. So the inverse operation that I'm going to use is the inverse of division, which is multiplication, and I'm going to multiply both sides by 25. So again, split my equation in half. On the right side, I'm going to multiply by 25. And on the left side, I'm also going to multiply by 25. 5 times 125 is 125. And this 25 and this 25 will reduce to 1. Right? Because 25 divided by 25 is just 1. And 1 times x is x. Copy the original equation. We're going to replace the x over here on the top, right, the numerator, with 125. So I'm going to pick a different color here. Now let's just simplify this a little bit more. Is 125 over 25 5? Yes. And you'll notice that this 5 equals the 5 on the other side. That's pretty much it. And again, I'm hoping this makes you remember what you did in the 6th grade, right? So 2t equals 20. Simple enough. So I have a coefficient 2. And t at this moment is currently being multiplied by 2. So to undo that, I'm going to divide it by 2. So on this one, the left side tells me what I have. What is happening? Okay, and then on the right side is what I should do. Right, so that tells me what I should do. It tells me that I have to divide both sides by 2. So let's do that. Divide this side by 2. Divide this side by 2. On the right side, 20 divided by 2 is 10. Right? And on the left side, 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 1 times t is t. Check. 2 times t equals 20. Let's replace that t with the value that we found, which was 10. And let's copy everything else. So it's 2 times 10 equals 20. So does that side equal the other side? Do both sides equal each other? Yes, they do. Going back here, all right, so now here's that little adjustment that I talked to you guys about. Right, so this, I want you to write it like this. It's easier for you to see. Bring that negative, that minus sign, and put it next, stick it to the next to 3. Okay, so here's my variable a, and it's being multiplied by negative 3. So the inverse operation I'm going to use, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. Let's show that. Sorry. Oh my God. Okay, everything's wrong. Ignore it. Ignore it. Ignore it. Yeah. Here's my variable a. What's happening to a? Right now it's being divided by -3. Oh, what did I see? So if you're dividing, the inverse operation is multiply. And we're going to multiply both sides by -3. So let's do that. So -12 times -3. And a divided by -3 times -3. So to multiply both sides by -3. On the right side, negative times a negative is a positive. On this and this simplify to 1, and 1 times a is a. So my answer is positive 36. So let's check and use the second equation, right? So we have a divided by -3 equals -12. So let's substitute. So in place of the a, I'm going to replace it with what's the value that we found? 36. That's -12, and 30 positive times a negative is a negative, and 36 divided by 3 is indeed 12. So look, left equals right. -2x equals 8. So again, you'll notice that again, once you get the hang of it, super easy. Variable x being multiplied by -2. So to undo that, I'm going to divide each side by -2. So let's show division. So to show division, I'm going to use a fraction. And divide this by -2, divide this by -2. Cross, cross, right? Because it simplifies to 1. X equals -4. Check. So the check tells you if your answer, this answer right here, is correct. So our original equation was -2 times x equals 8. So let's see if that's true. So -2 times, and I'm just going to, and in place of the x, I'm going to switch that, right, and put -4. Well, negative times a negative is a positive, and 2 times 4 is 8. And again, they both equal each other, so we're good. Alexa, weather.
In Flushing, there's a winter storm warning in effect Wednesday, December 16th, 2 p.m. to Thursday, December 17th, 1 p.m. The current weather is 32 degrees Fahrenheit with cloudy skies. Today, you can look for snowy weather with a high of 35 degrees and a low of 30 degrees.
So first thing I want you to do is rewrite this equation like this. So let's bring that minus sign towards the 8. Okay. It helps, it makes things a little bit easier. So I have a variable which is w. What's happening to it? It's being divided by -8. Right? So to undo that, I'm going to multiply it by -8. So let's show that. Now multiply this side by -8. Multiply this side by -8. Left side, -8 times 7 is -56. Right? Negative times a positive is a negative. And on here, you have a negative and a negative, so that's going to be a positive, right? So and that simplifies to 1. 1 times w, it's just w. So that's the value of w. Now, let's see if that's correct. So 7 equals w over -8. So let me copy everything except the w, because I'm going to switch the w to the value that we found, which is -56. Replace it. So negative divided by a negative is a positive. 56 divided by 8 is 7. Does that equal the 7 on the other side? Yeah. So we are good. Last 3 questions, and again, a bit repetitive. Okay, so we have a variable k. It's being, it's being multiplied by 36. And the inverse operation I'm going to use, so if it's multiplied by 36, I have to divide it by 36. So let's do that. Line in the middle. And divide by 36. Divide by 36. Remember what our goal is. Our goal is to have our variable isolate alone. There's no numbers around 1. There's the coefficient of 1, but alone by itself, right? So let's get rid of the 36, and in order to get rid of 36, I have to divide by 36. So 36 divided by 36 is 1, and 1 times k is just k or 1k. And -9 over 36, you're going to get a fraction here. 1/4. Simplify. Right, so actually, let me write this negative 9 over 36, and I simplify to negative 1/4. Check. Copy the original equation, and C3 equals negative 9. So 36 stays, negative 9 stays, but the k, I'm going to switch it, and instead of the k, I'm going to write negative 1/4. So if you think about it, you can put the 36 over 1. 36 times negative 1 is negative 36. 1 times 4 is 4. You can simplify this a little bit more. Negative times a positive is a negative. 36 divided by 4 is 9. Is this negative 9 on the left side equals the negative 9 on the right side? Yes. Oh, I didn't do any of these fractions. Okay, all right. Where are we? Okay, variables q. It's being divided by 4. To undo that, I have to multiply by 4 on both sides. So on the right side, I'm going to multiply by 4. And then the left side, I'm going to multiply by 4. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4, right? Positive and negative. This 4 and this 4 simplify, because 4 divided by 4 is just 1. And once times q, 1 times q is just q. So there's my answer. Let's copy the original equation. Let's see, so now I have to substitute, so I'm going to leave the negative 1, I'm going to leave the fraction, the denominator, but instead of q, I'm going to write negative 4. So on the left side is negative 1, and on the right side is negative 4 divided by 4, negative 1. Yeah, it is, which makes left side and right side equal, and everything is perfect. Last question, I believe. So again, what's my variable? T. What's happening to it? It's being divided by 2, I'm sorry. So to undo that, I'm going to multiply it by 2. So multiply this by 2, multiply this by 2. 3 times 2 is easy, 6. Here, that 2 and that 2 simplifies to 1. And 1 times t is just 2. That's my answer. What's the value of t? 6. Let's check, make sure it's right. So t divided by 2 is 3 is my original equation. I'm going to leave everything, remove the t, and instead of the letter t, I'm going to put the number 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3, which equals 3 on the other side. Okay. Yeah, that's it. That was your homework. Okay.